Good afternoon, Scott Baker.
Mikey Ames, how are you? It's time for Lead Better, our chance to talk about today's field note. The title of today's field note is Rejecting Ideas and Proposals Because of the Source.
Yep.
Very simple, straightforward thing. We all know it. There's people you just don't like, and they begin talking, and it's like the old Charlie Brown teacher or adult talking, and you just disregard. And every now and then, that person has something brilliant to say.
Yeah, it's a problem. And there's a lot of likes out of the gate on this one. You can usually tell in the first hour or two whether or not this is going to be well received and whether or not
on the field note itself.
On the field note itself. And so you can see that showing up in Substack on the number of likes that we get in that cohort of people who open up their emails early in the day. They seem to really resonate with this one. And plenty of great comments as well. We'll mention them as we talk.
All right. Now, so, well, what's your, I'm guessing you've seen this happen. So what is your initial sort of gut take on the advice in this field note?
I think that you and I could probably be a lot more prescriptive in the advice, because at the end of the day, the advice is really more about how to maintain our objectivity.
Sure. It's an admonition just to be more open-minded and listen, even if you don't like the person.
Right. And so, and essentially the advice is pretend. Like that's the advice, right?
Yeah, right.
Which is fine, but how to pretend, because it's so true with most of this when we're dealing with these kinds of biases, whether we're aware of them or we're not aware of them, they end up leaking. And if you are as a leader who are like, there's a guy I definitely don't like, chances are in one way or another, it's leaking out of you in some way. And that leakage is what you need to control more than anything else.
You're not coming across in all of your day-to-day interactions as though you really like this person and you really want them to share with you. You're walking by them quickly. You're writing notes when they start talking. You're tuning out.
Yeah, there's lots of ways that it leaks, right? You can, and some of them you think you're probably controlling, but if you actually do an assessment of like, what are my tells? What are my leakages when they happen? You might find that kind of leakage is a lot more obvious than you realize, and it's happening a lot more often than you realize as well.
Well, let me share a personal one, because I have an animosity, a dysfunctional relationship with a particular individual. I will identify this individual in just a moment, and I will say that in the preparations for our daily Lead Better conversations,
I'm sorry that I'm smiling so big, because it just feels like I think the punchline is a cat, so it's going to surprise me if this is actually a real person. But please go on. I'm very entertained.
Well, first of all, it's not a cat, and it's not you. I don't think.
Okay.
I'll have to examine my motives. I'll have to sit with that for a little while. So when we're getting ready to do these Lead Better conversations, the daily field notes are coming in rapid fire every day. We've done 1,500 plus of them. We're now in 180 countries, by the way. We were stuck at 179 for a long time. If you ask us, what country is 180?
We don't know.
I haven't figured that out yet. On the little Substack map, it's still not Greenland. It's still not Madagascar. Come on, people. So in any case, we've made this sort of clear that, one, we don't use AI to write field notes. They're all written from original ideas, from original coaching situations. They're very prescriptive. They used to be even a little bit shorter. You could read them in like a minute. Now it might take you 2 minutes to read all the way through.
Right.
And take it or leave it. Like, if you read 7 of them in a week, probably 2 of them are going to help you out, and the other 2 you're going to send to your brother-in-law or your kid in college or whatever else.
Right.
So, and you and I have been around this content. We know all of our platform content, all the hundreds of behaviors we're at least familiar with to some degree or another. And we love talking about this. And so you still try to sit back and say, well, just in getting ready, and oftentimes don't have a lot of time to actually get ready for what we're doing, which actually makes it actually fun, because we're actually sort of unpacking this as we go. But I try to do a little bit of thought and think about like, well, what are examples from my life or things that I've seen or things that I regret? And then every now and then, even though we don't use AI to generate the field notes, I'll dialogue with Alex, which is our leadership AI, which is built on our content, millions and millions of words. So you're getting a very specific filter. And then sometimes I'll pitch it to ChatGPT or to a Gemini or to Grok or whatever. And but for and I would say maybe I do that 2 field notes out of 10, getting ready for these conversations.
Right.
Don't use them at all. Like Randall normally writes all of them. I'll edit them. My wife will take a look at them. You'll look at them. Then, and if anything is still wrong by the time that it gets into Substack, it's Mikey's fault. Yes. So now at that point, when I pitch it, I will sometimes say, okay, here's this essay. Is there anything we're missing here? And I'll prompt very specifically. And I'll say, I'm looking for other insights or examples, but they have to be real, factual, backed up, cited, right? Mm-hmm. And this is where the problem is. There's an individual named Claude who works over at Anthropic, who every single time that I use this very specific prompt and ask for advice on the field note, will say, well, yes, there's some great studies, and it'll list studies, and it'll say there are these percentages, and that, and then I'll follow up and I'll say, do you have citations for those statistics?
Oh.
And then Claude will say, oh, I'm sorry. I probably should have said that these are more sort of general extrapolations or ballpark, things. And I'll be like, and every time I'll be like, you're actually lying to me.
Yes.
Right. Every single time. It actually has not happened in the last 10 times in the last 2 months that I've thrown this question. The very specific prompt is be factual, be real. And every single time the first answer. Now,
you'll confront Claude with the actual,
oh, absolutely.
You're lying to me?
Yeah. Okay. Why are you, I actually in the prompt, you'll see that I said only use factual, cited, real information. And you still are telling. So the question is, Claude or the new version of ChatGPT or whatever it is, the most amazing, world-changing answer could come in any one of those interchanges, right? If the possibility is there that there's some alignment of language that you'll go, holy crap, no one has ever said it this way or thought about it this way, and I'm going to explain it to Mikey live on the internet. It's going to be amazing.
But not from
I could tune it out. Well, no, Claude could still do it. That's the whole point.
Right.
Claude could still deliver a Nobel Prize-worthy winning insight of some kind. But my bias, because Claude lies to me every single time I ask the question, would be to tune it out.
Right.
So why do I keep asking? Why I switch it around? But again, it's not a thing I do day to day. But it happened today.
Yeah.
So that's why I was bringing it up, and I can give you the stat later just for fun. But you
and
understand then.
It was a hallucination today.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Total hallucination. So, so anyway, the point being, real world example, getting ready for this actual discussion on Lead Better.
Right.
I encountered this, and now I have to say to myself, well, how do I proceed, whether I'm talking to this person named Claude or this person named Grok or this person named Gemini? Oh, and how about if they were a real human being walking about the planet?
Because your example is actually true with, and it shows up in adoption rates on AI today. Because most people find that the interface and the back and forth is not the adoption rate is just very low. And when you dig into that, I think most of the answers are around this idea of like untrustworthy.
It's not worth the fact checking.
Making stuff up all the time, right? And it only takes 1 or 2 of those examples before you're like, especially if you're doing this kind of research for it. If you're just using it as search engine kind of stuff, then
no doubt
maybe it might not be that big of a deal. But if there's a little bit of consequence to it, then it makes you not want to use it anymore at all.
All right. So I took too long to explain my Claude problem, but let's then kind of go into, I mean, if you have another insight or things you heard, because you said there were a lot of comments and likes on this, and then we can kind of try to resolve something that might actually help all of us. Because I do think I've seen this in the real world where people have dismissed ideas just because of who it came from. Right. And how do we get past that bias?
I think it's important to recognize whose comment was it in the Rich Blattenberger pointed out that this bias works the other way as well. Like you might have a favorite, right? And then this in-group favoritism that you have, which is what the bias is called in the research as well, can do it for the opposite, that you actually give too much credibility to ideas that come from people that you like, where you should actually have more scrutiny against it. And so overcoming these biases is important both ways.
Well, and what was the name of the phrase that you just mentioned?
In-group
favoritism.
Yeah.
So the actual bias that we're talking about in this field note is called reactive devaluation. So we have these two. There's also going to be a third one that we don't even address in here, which is there are people that have great ideas and they don't actually present them to the leader because they don't like the leader.
Right. Yeah. Completely different. Yeah. Totally different set of behaviors if you're going to try to fix that.
Yeah.
But there is this notion of that's how your dislike for people leaks out. Right. And so we had someone else point out the idea that would this be the same set of behaviors if it was fear? Right? If you're a leader, and it's not that you dislike somebody, but you actually fear that they're going to supplant you, or you fear that their role in the organization might be like something that actually overcomes you. So maybe it's not dislike, but is it fear? And if it's fear, my guess is that those behaviors that you demonstrate to that person are like planned out, right? Maybe you have some maleficence against that person, right? And if you were actually trying to sabotage or prevent them from sabotaging you, now you're actually planning out your sabotage, which is a different kind of set of behaviors. It's like, I just have this bias. I dislike them. I think I'm in control of it, but I'm not somehow in control of it. So I think the best way to kind of overcome this is to recognize like the way that your decision-making actually takes place. And for a lot of people, you're allowing an idea that comes into your head to go to a second or a third level of filtering before you actually say, is this a good idea or not? And oftentimes, if it's coming to you by way of someone that you dislike, you don't let it get to that second level filter. You don't let it get to that third level filter. So the trick is to somehow, even though I don't like this person, I'm going to allow the idea to get to the second level. Because at that point in your process, oftentimes it's you and somebody else who's evaluating this idea. And it's not just you struggling with the fact that you dislike this person. And so letting it go into the second and third order filter is sometimes the best thing to do, instead of saying, nope, first order, don't like the person, not going to listen to the idea.
Well, okay. Now, let me complicate it even more here in the last minute or two.
Great. I don't need you to solve it in the last minute or two.
Yeah. So think about it this way. Many times, people that come up with great ideas are weird. And they're probably prickly.
Yes.
And probably a little bit annoying.
Good points.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a problem that happens here where there are people that are really likable, and some of them are just likable. The others of them are like, they're psychopaths. Like they're manipulators. They have dark triad aspects. They're gonna con you in some way.
Yes.
So the person you think is like so competent, and they've got so much knowledge, and they bury you in a blizzard of words about how you're like, oh yeah, well that's got to be right.
Right.
And then you start to you're deceived by just the niceness in which they're delivering it.
Yes.
And yet you might actually realize, oh, I actually have to be the person that's good at working with annoying people because they tend to generate great ideas. Those are problems. And then it fits to the other side of it, which is maybe I'm the dislikable one. Like I'm pretty low and polite. Yeah. I'm high in openness and extroversion, and I'm going to come talk to you at the party. But I'm also, the one that's going to be like, if you have a bad idea, I'm probably going to tell you it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you talk about weirdness, though, and because weirdness because people are quirky, that's actually a bit of a likable trait. Like I think I like those people more than I dislike them. Code compliance people, those are the people that I kind of dislike. But I wonder if I'm giving myself an excuse to dislike them because code compliance people aren't going to be the ones who think outside of the box and come up with great ideas anyway.
Right.
So I can go ahead and dismiss those people.
Just as a light example, I remember working on a team, and one person on the team, the leader of the organization found annoying and wanted to get rid of that person. And I maintain the posture. I have no problem working with this person. Maybe I liked them, didn't like them. Maybe I found them annoying. But I actually said, look, I've worked in a lot of different newsrooms, media shops, tech shops, all kinds of things. I've worked with people that did genius work and they were annoying. And I'm okay with that most of the time. Sometimes I'll block you out if I really think you're just, like dragging me down. I don't have room for that. But in this case, that person was extraordinarily diligent and did a lot of work that nobody else wanted to do.
Right.
And so to me, that was worth the effort of dealing with just some of the fringe issues around it that the leader of the whole organization didn't want to deal with.
Right.
And to me, it was like, I'm okay. But the field note is saying, listen, evaluate every idea on its merits. Try to, even if you don't like this person, be like, what if my best friend were telling me that? Like, would I look at this differently? And I think that's not a bad way to do it.
I don't think so either. The idea that you're not trying to overcome your dislike for this person, you're just trying to evaluate their ideas in a better way, is because oftentimes if you leak too much, there probably are some reasons you need to work on not disliking them so much. And maybe that's just a matter of focusing on the one or two things that you respect about the person, even though you don't like them, and then just focus your relationship on those respectable qualities instead of feeling like, I need to figure out how to be a friend of this person. You can let go of that idea. Some people you're just not going to be friends with, and that's all right.
I think so. Well, I think we've had a very cordial conversation around this thorny topic. And I think it's one that's really practical. I'm glad we had this field note. It's one of the ones where I was like, I don't see this stuff other places.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I don't know about everybody else. That's why I love talking about the field notes, because it was like, this is a good one.
Yes.
We're trying to find all those little actionable things that leaders engage in every day that nobody else really just either points out, and that you can find these little dynamics and then say, oh, there's something that actually is not only insightful, but I can use it in every direction.
Right. Every day, including Saturday and Sunday, which we'll be back this week.
Right. Which we do not even have Saturday's field note yet to even know what we're going to talk about tomorrow or Sunday. But yet we will be here and do it. So sometime between now and 3:00 tomorrow, we'll figure it out.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Mikey.
Bye now.